What's up, my fellow light skins of the people too? Welcome back to another video. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the greatest movies that Disney has ever produced. And no, I'm not talking about Lion King or Aladdin or High School Musical, nothing like that. We're talking about the true greatest Disney movies ever made. And say it with me. It's zombies! Yeah! You don't know what I'm talking about. Don't worry, I got you. Come on. Actually, roll the intro and then, come on.
Be an alpha, got to stand up tall and proud.
So basically, if you haven't seen these movies, then the concept is that we're in this perfect town. It's called Seabrook, and everybody's blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect skin, all of that stuff. And if you don't have that, well then you're outcast from society and nobody talks to you. So it's basically 1940s Germany. And their leader is this guy. I call him Shrimpler because their school mascot's a shrimp. And he reminds me of somebody, but I don't know who. Anyway, though, the main character is his cousin, Meg Donnelly, who has a really deep, dark, disgusting secret that nobody can know. She's not naturally blonde. Yeah, that's right. She's a teenage girl and her hair is white. So you know what that means. Send her to the gas chamber. But yeah, as you can tell from the title of this movie, of course, there's another plot point, and that's zombies. At some point in history, like 50 years ago, somebody poured Sierra Mist down a drain of acid or something. It exploded, created zombies, and zombies were going around eating people and all that. But then, out of nowhere, somebody created this magic Fitbit that keeps them from eating people, I guess. And so then the school sees this and they're like, well, you guys aren't eating anybody, right? How about you come to school? And so they're like, yeah, let's do that. So zombies come into school and everybody hates them. And they're like, you're different, you're disgusting, we don't like you. Mind you, they are just a bunch of pale-skinned teenagers who occasionally want to eat human flesh. I mean, if we segregated everybody like that, then there'd be a whole city dedicated to Redditors and Discord mods, which actually, maybe it's not such a bad idea. But anyway, zombies come in, nobody likes them, until Meg Donnelly gets trapped in a room with one of the zombies, the main one, Zed. And then in that closet for the next 7 minutes or whatever, she's like, zombies are kind of hot. But she doesn't want anybody to know that she feels this way, because then she won't be able to make the cheer squad and nobody will like her anymore. And, then her life falls apart because high school's the most important thing ever. And so she's like, hey, I like you, but I don't want people to know that. Paper bag on your face, because nobody can know that you're a zombie. But yeah, the main plot point of this is that zombies have never been allowed in the city before. They've always been relegated to the slums, to the hood. And everybody knows the only way to make it out of the hood is either become a musician or become an athlete. And Zed, seeing an opportunity to bring the zombies up and make them equal to everybody else, he says, okay, I'll play football for your team. Only problem is his teammates don't like him because he's different, and so obviously that means he's bad. And he also doesn't really know how to play football. So the way he does this is, of course, by cheating. So what he does is he has one of his friends hack into his Fitbit so he can become like half zombie, so he gets the zombie strength and aggression, but not the uncontrollable urge to eat everybody in his way, right? And so that couldn't go wrong at any point. But yeah, obviously Zed doesn't want to cheat, but he doesn't really have a choice because his principal basically comes up to him and she's like, hey, we love that you're winning games, this is great for the school and all, but you lose one, you're back to the hood, buddy. You'll be living off of government assistance till you're 45. Okay? It'll just be you, your dad, and them EBT cards. And then he's like, I got a sister, right? And she's like, you lose a game, you won't. And so yeah, that's going on. And so obviously he's scared. But he keeps on winning games, keeps on cheating. It gets a little bit closer and closer and closer. And then the cheerleaders finally find out, and so Shrimpler and his gang are forced to have all names that end in AC, so like Stacy, Macy, Gracie, stuff like that. For some reason that's a plot point, but they all decide they're gonna mess with the zombie tech. They make him zombie out, and all of a sudden on the football field he is out here trying to eat people, of course, and everybody's so scared and they're like, I knew we should have let these nasty zombies in our city. And yeah, that goes terrible. Everybody's freaking out, but then Meg Donnelly walks on the field singing, and she's like, I'm not really blonde. And then she takes off her wig and everybody's like, oh my goodness. Now that one of our people shows that she's different, we're going to accept everybody. And so singing, dancing, power, friendship, everybody learns, being the people who are different aren't bad. And then Meg Donnelly learns that maybe not fitting in isn't the biggest problem in the world. And these are both lessons that I'm sure nobody will ever forget. Well, in Zombies 2, werewolves show up and everybody immediately forgets the lessons they just learned. So they basically reset to their original, character status at the beginning of Zombies 1, except now they accepted the zombies in and not the werewolves. The werewolves' whole deal when they show up is basically they have this terrible version of the coronavirus. It's probably the one from the ship that just showed up. And the only way that they can stop themselves from going extinct is by finding their moonstone. And it's like this great power source that fuels all the werewolves, I guess. And apparently it's hidden somewhere under the city of Seabrook because wolves were here first, which was not mentioned in the first one at all, of course, but Zombies 1 made a lot of money, so this had to happen. So they do that and everybody hates them. And the craziest thing to me is that Zed hates them too. He came into the school being opposed just to be welcome into the school, and he's like, oh, there's a new minority group coming in? Screw them. So basically Zed's character arc in this movie is he wants to become class president because there's a rule somewhere in the rule books that says zombies can't go to prom, and he wants to go to prom with Meg Donnelly, his snow bunny baddie. And he also wants the school to be less racist, of course, but it's mainly that he wants to go to prom with a snow bunny. But I think it's so funny that he wants to become class president so that the school becomes less racist when spending 1 year at the school made him racist. He said, I hate the werewolves, up until he realized that he needed their votes to win school president. And he's like, yo, guys, try some of this frozen yogurt and vote for me as well. I mean, he's a real politician, that's for sure. He does not care about the people voting for him at all. But I'm just like, it's hilarious to me that you're trying to end racism when 1 year of the school made you exactly like the rest of the people. And I mentioned how Meg Donnelly had her whole character arc in the first movie where she wanted to fit in, but she realized she just doesn't really fit in anywhere, and she was okay with that at the end of the first movie. And then in this movie, she is once again sad that she doesn't fit in, and she's looking for some way to fit in. And so she goes and hangs out with the werewolves, basically copying the same thing she did with the zombies in their whole scene. Because first she went to the zombie nightclub, now she's going to the wolves' random tree nightclub, and she hears them dancing and singing and sees their people coughing and dying and all that. She's like, oh, this is so sad. And they show her their elder wolf lady who's apparently supposed to lead them to their moonstone, and they're like, wait, she has white hair and you have white hair. What if you're a reincarnated werewolf prophet who's gonna lead us to the moonstone? And so they put on this wolf necklace thing, and it braids her hair, and all of a sudden she's like, I must be a werewolf. And then she howls, and I think she said a racial slur in werewolf. Long story short, she was not a werewolf prophet. She was just a normal person, and for some reason their necklaces braid your hair. And so yeah, she really said that slur for nothing. But yeah, in the end, zombies and werewolves end up going to prom. They find out that the moonstone's underneath the school or something I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've watched it, but they found where the moonstone was. They do some singing, some dancing, power of friendship. Everybody's good now. We all learn to accept each other's differences, and Meg Donnelly realizes she doesn't need to fit in to accept herself. And these are lessons that we will never forget, I'm sure. This is the end of Zombies 2, and obviously I thought that after Zombies 1, the series would be over. But after Zombies 2, they've really closed it off really nicely, and yeah, I think this is it for Zombies. So yeah, that's nice. Zombies 3. I know, we all thought it was done after the first two movies. Well, except for me, because I watched the post-credit scenes of Zombies 2, and I got invested, and I may or may not have stayed up till 4 o'clock the night that Zombies 3 came out to watch it on Disney+. I'm not proud of it, but hey, that first song with the horns was banging, bro. Anyway, aliens show up, there's explosions everywhere, everybody's scared, and it's a valid reaction, and of course after that, they are again having a valid reaction, and they're like, hey, we accept you now, we know that you're different and all that, but hey, we accepted wolves and zombies, we'll accept you too. Except for the fact that they don't. They're like, yeah, so wolves, zombies, that's one thing, but we are not taking on bisexual blue-haired teens from space. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder what is in the drinking water, because not only is it the humans being racist, not only is it the zombies being racist, now the wolves are like, hey, we don't like you either. Genuinely, what are y'all drinking from them water fountains? Oh my gosh, my throat hurts. But basically the plot that's going on here is the aliens, they're showing up because they had this message from their commander telling them to come to this city to find their new home because their old home got destroyed or something like that. You know, they're aliens. Who knows? And in terms of the humans' problems, Zed is trying to go to college now, even though this movie takes place, what, I think 5 years after the first one came out. So he was supposed to be, I don't know, 15 in the first movie, and now he's 17, even though in real life he's like 29. But yeah, he's trying to go to college now, and there's also the worry that if he goes to college, then him and Meg Donnelly are gonna break up, and so they're like telling each other, it's okay, we'll be all good, we're not gonna break up, right? We're gonna be okay. And they almost get shot by a bunch of arrows in the one song because they're just walking through an archery field. But yeah, that whole thing's going on, and Zed can only go to college if he is like one of the smartest students in the school. And so originally he is, but then the aliens show up and he drops all the way down. And so that's a huge problem. And of course, Zed, being the manipulative, racist zombie guy he is, he says, I hate the zombies on the inside, but they could tutor me and get me into college. And so there's a way I can use the minorities to my benefit. So, hey guys, ever had froyo before? And remember how I always talk about how Meg Donnelly, you know, keeps on learning how she doesn't have to fit in to accept herself. Well, once again, she doesn't fit in and she doesn't accept herself. And she goes on to the alien spaceship. So now, 3 movies in a row, she's going to the home of this minority group that everybody hates. And then she's finding out something new about herself. And this time, she sees that the commander has like white hair or something like, I don't even know what she learned at this point. And then she's looking at pictures of her and her grandma, and she's like, wait, my grandma had white hair. What if my grandma was actually an alien and I'm an alien? And it's like, girl, at this point, you might just be stressed. That might be where the white hair is coming from. Because at this point, you're looking for any answer. I don't know. They were trying to keep the genes pure. Maybe you should check your ancestry and make sure that your parents aren't like cousins or something. First, she thought that she was like, I don't even know what she thought at first. But then in the second movie, she's like, maybe I'm a reincarnated werewolf prophet. And then in this third movie, she thinks that maybe she's the daughter or the great granddaughter of an alien princess. Like, maybe you're just different. And I feel like after the first 2 movies where you learn that it's okay to be different, you would figure that out. But these characters never change. They just like, all their character development just goes away each movie. It's crazy. But anyway, a whole bunch of different events happen. The aliens have to join a cheer squad so that they can get the like trophy that apparently has the map to their new home or something. And then Meg Donnelly joins in to help them find their new home. And then they find out, oh, it's actually Seabrook. And then Seabrook, in the end, they do singing, dancing, power of friendships. Everybody learns to accept each other's differences. But this time, it gives us an actual, like, seemingly an ending where they're like, now we'll actually accept every monster that comes in. It's they're like vampires and other monsters. And so yeah, there's really no need for another movie because they basically closed it off. They're like, hey, anybody who shows up, we'll accept them, and it'll be great. Zombies 4. I actually didn't watch it, and if you want me to, I will for another video. Overall, though, there's not much that I like about this movie, but I can't stop watching them is the problem. It's like these aren't good movies, but it's like the incident that happened on September 11th, 2001. Nobody was happy that they had to see it, but nobody could look away. That's how I feel about these movies. It's like, I'm not glad that my eyes are watching it, but if I see it on the TV, I have to. And so yeah, I would advise you to watch the movies, honestly. At least the first one, but honestly, watch them all at this point. Yeah, those are the zombie movies, though. Thank you for watching. Probably nobody's going to watch this.